My name is Herb Nadel. I'm living the American dream. Why do I say that? Because I come from a family where we didn't have much. So the fact that I was able to get an education at LA Trade Tech with almost no money is really remarkable and something for which I'm grateful and very proud. When I was a young kid, my father, who was working as a house painter, took me to an architect's house. I was very curious as to what the architect was doing. I thought that houses were built somehow by carpenters. It never occurred to me that there were drawings. And this architect showed me the drawings. And I was terribly inspired, so excited to think that somehow these drawings translated themselves into architecture. When I was 13 years old, I met another architect by the name of Calvin Straub. Calvin Straub asked me to do a sketch of the building. I drew the end of that building, and Calvin Straub, who was a very elegant looking gentleman, looked down at me and he said, "Someday you're going to be a great architect." I had a sister that was very ill. She had a brain tumor from the time she was 6 or 7 years of age. My parents were struggling to keep her alive. It caused my father emotional grief. So I was kind of ignored. I barely graduated high school. I went to Santa Monica City College, but again, I failed. I didn't do very well in school, and within one semester I was asked to leave. I then had the presence of mind to join the US Coast Guard. Within a few days of joining the Coast Guard, I experienced incredible anti-Semitism, a form of racism that mostly you only hear about that occurred in Nazi Germany. I then was put on a Coast Guard cutter in Seattle, Washington, and when I got on the ship, the bosun's mate said, "Where's Nadel?" What they did to me while I was on board that ship for 3 months was unbelievable. An officer threatened me one day, so I told him off. They had a captain's mast, and the captain of the ship said to me, he said, "How dare you talk to an officer?" And I said, "Am I not allowed to defend myself?" It didn't make any difference. They put me in the brig. When I got out of the Coast Guard, I was a mature adult. I had no family to rely on, and the same friend who recommended the Coast Guard to me recommended LA Trade and Tech, and he said, "You can become a draftsman." I drove down to the school and I said, "I really want to be a draftsman." They let me into LA Trade Tech on probation. The teachers really took an interest in the students, not just me, but every one of them. I'm very touched by it. I really am. Can you stop that?
Yes.
I was so excited about I couldn't wait to go to school every day. For me, that was an amazing thing, because I hated going to Venice High School. My first jobs in architecture were not very glamorous. I was an office boy. I ran blueprints. I picked my boss's shirts up from the laundry, picked up his wife at the airport, took care of his kids. It was my entry into architecture. With the experience that I had at LA Trade Tech, I could draw very well. They assigned work to me that was pretty serious architecture. September of 1968, which is when I got my license. It's right on the wall behind me, and I have to figure out how many years it took, but it seemed interminable. Because as I said earlier, if you wanted to achieve something, you got to put a lot of energy into it. And I was very, very focused. Nothing would stop me from becoming an architect. When I look back on my life and my career, it isn't about money. It isn't about awards. It's about the people I've met, the people that have helped me. I look back at the teachers at LA Trade Tech. It's just been a wonderful journey. with the associations I've had and the life I've been able to lead as a result of the inspiration I've gotten from my friends and colleagues. God bless you.
More than I can